online.
Speaking on the training situation, to me, my look is just some people consider an upset compulsion at the end. Some people feel your mind when the trainer changes that, been training, I'm retired, what do you think on speaking on the trainer side?
Well, you know, I wish these young guys nothing but the best.
Rayman.
You know, these guys, these guys when they're tired of it. I'm not gonna sit right here and bash him or bash his dad. I wish him and his dad nothing but the best.
3, 2, 1, brawl.
This is just some kid on YouTube.
Where's the story that it ends with me running into him in a club in Vegas and not getting the crowd? Pay attention. You don't care about mixed martial arts. The repercussions are serious and far beyond sports. What's someone have
So you didn't have a back question on YouTube.
that's what you're doing. We've seen the biggest comebacks in the issue.
He turned down. I was one of the boys. They turned down then. If it's too hard. So, not too much.
Random.
Are YouTube superstars. They were deep into sports at a very young age and excelled at all kinds of physical competitions. They were what you refer to as natural athletes, and they took that competition to the next level in 2012 when the social media platform Vine was created. They started competing on who would get the most followers. In the following years, they both grew their followers on
3,
YouTube,
2,
Facebook,
1,
Instagram. And
brawl.
there's one thing you should keep in mind about Jake, is that he is a mastermind at getting clout. He knows what he's doing on social media. He knows how to get media coverage. He knows how to grow an audience and how to leverage it to its full potential. You know, it's like smart guy. We'll get into why that represents a threat to UFC. From 2010 to 2019, Jake Paul is playing on social media. Dana White is going to UFC to like the top. But there is one key phrase that prevents competitors from very hard to discover. It's a fighter. just about to get to the nitty-gritty stuff by looking at the player's share of the league's revenue. Which percentage of what the league is making goes to the players? So in the NFL, for instance, that number is 48.8%. In the NBA, it's 49%.
Random.
Major League Baseball, 50%. Almost half of what the league makes goes to the players. And the UFC, it's 20%. And it dipped below that before.
Our numbers line up with sports our size. Numbers do Major League Soccer.
All the sports, I see how much the owners of the league get paid is the lowest.
Wow.
By I think it's around
Closer to 50%. And a lot of your fighters say, hey, we'd be happy for something more than 18%. Why can't we get it?
Yeah, that's what's going on for 20 years too. The next 20 years.
On the other hand, Dana's net worth has climbed to $500 million.
$7 million blackjack, but his fighters are starting here. Those are big guys with a lot of power. They're very greedy, and they have gotten to the top, but they want more. They always want more. That's how they build a star. They will kill and eat everyone in their path to put more money in their bank account.
Let's look at how fighters pay as a fighter, get
Dominating. Shut down.
Essentially, at the end of the fight, Dana and his team decide who gets additional bonus. Now, keep in mind, this last 10 if you get the bonus. If you lose the fight, finally you get sponsorship. That's 35%. Back in the days, bought deal.
Fighters can't have independent look in the cage now. Financially, it seems to be a huge disaster.
Fighters on average 20 to 25K for much living in slavery. We can't get our own sponsors. We're banned inside the
I don't like when I see fighters suffering financially.
One of the ways the UFC justifies treating their fighters like that is by saying that their fighters are not independent contractors. They're not independent, and the benefits of the state and family.
Shut down.
Right now, everybody acts like this is a career. This isn't a career. It's not a career.
So how do you survive as an average contractor?
Jared Cannonier, do you anticipate fighting again or kind of waiting to see what happens in that title fight?
4, 3, 2, 1.
said on the mic to Daniel Cormier.
Player 4 wins.
Headlines was that you want to get back in there because, as you put it, how dire is the situation?
Former UFC fighter Miles Jury broke down his expenses on his website. We're going to take a look at that. As a fighter, usually 10% of your purse goes to your gym, 20% to your management, 30% gets taxed.
A lot of people don't understand that when we have these fights, that we owe people money after these fights. 60% of my money is already gone. Between the gym, between management, between taxes.
Then you need to pay your coach. That's usually $50 to $150 per hour. You need to pay your medical licenses. So before your fight, you need to get cleared by doctors, and those expenses come out of your pocket.
On top of that, I got bills, credit cards, I got kids.
And diverse expenses that totaled 1 to 2K for Jury per camp. That can be transportation, gas, food.
That money goes. Money don't last forever.
So let's take our 10K show, 10K win purse that we discussed earlier and see how that stacks up. That's 2K in gym fees, 4K for management, 6K in taxes, 1,000 for coaching, 500 bucks for medicals, 1,000 expenses, 14,500. So the fighter makes a profit of $5,500 for one fight. Fighters on average fight 2 to 3 times a year. They suffer cuts and bruises that might take 3 to 4 months to heal. That is if they're lucky and they don't get injured or need a surgery. In that case, they might only fight once a year.
A lighter.
And not being able to fight for the last 10 months, you know, put a strain on our pockets.
Chris Weidman who goes in and snaps his leg. Like, what happens in that scenario? Because in the NBA, they're guaranteed a certain amount of money. They still get. In the UFC, they're not. There's no guarantee you have to go in there and fight to get paid. Oh my God.
That's why the 50K bonus can actually be life-changing for a fighter.
You got performance of the night.
Yeah! Let's go! Let's go! Hey, Sean.
You gotta fight for a long time if you get 50,000. Damn right. That's crazy. I didn't know that's how it goes though. He said the UFC. Dana White said the UFC is not a career; it's an opportunity. So they don't have to like back you up as if it's like a real career. You know what I mean? Like if you get hurt and shit like that, it's your choice. They don't have to back you up or assure you or none of that.
I just found out 2 seconds ago. I got performance of the night. So, yeah.
She got $50,000. That means she ain't gotta work for a little while.
I decided to make a big risk and just ditch my house and everything in it in Dallas, Texas, and we packed up our car with one suitcase. We came here. We didn't have a house. We had nothing. You know, I took a big risk to get a big reward, and man, I just feel so happy.
The show win model to me is so outdated and archaic. Like, you walk into a main event on ESPN for the UFC, you deserve guaranteed pay.
You know, I made 10 and 10 from my winning show, so that 20,000 was just gone.
I hope you get a finish and you can, you know, do something spectacular. You double your pay? No, you should get that double pay up front.
Just to get that bonus.
Because they getting paid for to watch you anyways.
I've been so broke my whole life because of this sport, but it's so worth it to me because I love this sport. But to get a $50,000 paycheck, you know.
How are me and you sitting here? I'm 3 pro fights in. You're 2 pro fights in. How do you and I make more than every single fighter in the UFC?
I think Francis Ngannou tweeted this, right? Or someone did. It might have been him. It's stupid, dude. It's dumb. But the answer is because people are invested.
The UFC actually comes 9th when it comes to highest paid sports.
I am a high-level, elite level athlete. I would like to get paid like elite level athletes, like the ones in the NFL and the NBA. From the NBA.
That doesn't really factor in the risk-reward ratio.
Wouldn't fuck with it.
And then they go, that's what they sign up for. It's part of the game. Yeah, so you gotta pay them like it's part of the game.
Why do we keep hearing about the underpaying stuff? When it comes to me as a human that likes fighting, I know how dangerous that shit is. You should get paid an incredibly generous amount of money to step into a cage fight for millions of people to see.
Yeah, with all due respect to some of the other athletes.
Say, Mike, man, you gotta see what young boy's doing, man. This man on some rockstar next level shit. Say, Mike, look, young boy. Man, what the fuck? You talking about that rockstar shit he did? Yeah. I was the first to comment on that bitch. Say, he just posted this. How? Nigga, I'm a copy everything he does. Dude, this is young boy doing his own thing. The biggest fan in the world. Ain't no way, bro. I'm gonna jump on it before the rest of the man start dick riding. Bro, you is tripping. First dick ride. No, you not.
Huh? Yeah. Why not? Never thought about that. Hell yeah, bro. Thank you.
shit out to my plate.
I guess I'm wrong.
Yeah, because she's gonna pay both of them.
Damn show.
Should they pay both of them?
Right? Well, I got like 60 on it now, I think. Yeah, like 60 on it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if anything, I can pay it all. Yeah, I ain't gonna touch it or anything. So. If anything, $5 in gas here and there or something. But I got food for lunch and shit like that, you know, so.
Yeah.
I'm bringing noodles, I'm bringing the fork and stuff.
They
Thank you, man. That looks so good.
There's more,
Okay.
another one too.
Everyone knows about Dana's issue and all the hookers.
So I want to ask you about some fighters. The first one being Floyd Mayweather Jr. When did you first realize that your brother fighting him was actually a possibility?
It wasn't until
In the
about
fridge,
6
okay?
weeks before the fight where it was actually confirmed. I think Floyd woke up one day and just posted
No more, bro.
Yeah.
like a fight poster. And before that, it was like sort of all just a rumor. I remember being with my brother. It was actually after I beat Ben Askren.
Hey, bro.
And we were in Miami celebrating. And we both like woke up and came over. And I was like, oh, I guess this is real. June 6th, Buddy Floyd. And he immediately flew here home to Puerto Rico and just started training at training camp. When you grabbed his hat, what are you thinking? Man, I wasn't thinking past just that moment. I think, you know, dark thoughts come into your head of like, yo, this is, to what extent
Is it still frozen in your memory? You and your brother being driven off by your dad to the airport as you're going to.
Can I get one more?
Another one?
Yeah. No toast though.
parrot, and he couldn't take the parrot on
No
the plane.
toast.
And I had to finish my
Thank
junior
you.
year of high school. So I finished my finals test, and I flew to LA since I wasn't 18 yet.
That was good.
My parents were like, you can only go for 3 months. And so I was supposed to be going for the summer, but I knew that was.
Thank you so much, honey. I really appreciate it.
Even
man.
from the outset, you knew you weren't going back to school and you were staying in LA.
Yeah, and that only increased 3 days after I got to LA and was like, this is the most fun I've ever had in my life. This is the greatest city in the world.
Video a day for 800 straight days. How much of that was fun?
It had its ups and downs, but I think by halfway through, it was more work. And it wasn't really something I was passionate about. You could just see like, oh, this kid is like just doing this because it's fueling his brand and his page and his following and his revenue.
And the pressure to create content you felt started to...
Gary sold me a PSA 10 first edition Charizard. There's only like 120, maybe 121 in the world. I went in there with the intention of buying one of his BGS 10 Charizards. There's only 2 in the world. I've always wanted a BGS 10 Charizard, right? And I just didn't know how to get it because the only guy with both of them is Gary. And he would not sell it to me. And so he sold me this fucking card. It's perfect. This is, I don't know how, he mentioned that he tried to get PSA to cross it over to a BGS 10. It's called a crossover, and oftentimes it fails. Yeah. I'm assuming because they're competitors, and like, if a PSA 10 crosses over to BGS 10, what does that do to the novelty of yeah, you know, it's scarcity, you gotta keep it. And so I'm like, damn, he tried to cross it over. That's crazy, because it didn't work. And I'm looking at this card and it's perfect, and I wonder why it didn't work. I wonder if there's like some sort of like inherent beef between the companies, whatever. But I thought to myself, I wonder what would happen if I cut this card out, this $150,000 card out of the PSA case, and submitted it as a raw card. That's risky, because what if they like go, oh, it's a 7, no, it's a 6. Not only that, they can downgrade it. No. What if when you take out the $150,000 card from the PSA slab, because it's not a super clean process. You have to use like wire cutters and like a screwdriver. And there. Now I know. But if you nick that fucking thing, it's over. This much, you lose 100 grand like this. So I'm like, fuck it, bro. What? I'm that dude. I'm gonna try to cut this out of the case and risk losing my investment, my prized possession.
Wait, just for us, how much more would it go if it would, like, the win? You're risking it? What's the win? Well, how much more of a difference? That's later on in the story. Yeah, I mean, now it's like $1 million card. I walked out with that card to the Floyd Mayweather fight, but I'm getting there. So I cut this card out. Surgical. I practiced. It was one of the scariest things I've ever seen. He's standing there with what equates to like a giant wrench, like a fucking screwdriver, and he takes it and he's bending the durability of the fucking case with this thing, and there's like 10 people huddled around, their eyes bulging out of it, and he goes, fucking 18 fucking months ago. Well, the only reason I bring it now is because he did something, right? What happened? That's why. Wait, what happened? This. I'll tell you. So I fucking flew to Texas. I submitted it to BGS as a raw card. It got graded a fucking 10. It became the 3rd BGS 10 in the world. Probably 5x the value right there. It was like a good luck charm to me. I felt like that day, I just felt so like happy and grateful that I was able to do something kind of bold, and it fucking worked. Like it fucking worked. And why I hadn't or posted this video is because like I'd assume, and I'll just be honest with you, there were a couple things. One, I'd assume this is kind of frowned upon in the industry. People have done it, but I don't know if anyone as like public about the space has done it. Why is it frowned upon? Well, I don't know. I haven't like talked to anyone about it. Like I don't know. I just wonder if people will think it's a scummy move. But like I'm gonna be honest with you. I work smarter, not harder, and if I'm willing to sacrifice my $150,000 card for a bias that I think may have taken place on the grading, because guess what? Guess who grades these cards? People. And maybe one day the grader is feeling a certain way and grades it a little higher than the next day. Maybe it's a different grader. It's not a perfect science. And so I fucking gambled and I fucking won. And like I love the community and Can we talk? Can we? Can we talk for a minute? Girl, I want
You fucked it up. Why you doing that extra shit for? Super Animal Royale. Let's see if you want to possibly play it. Let's see if you could possibly. Oh, they.
P. The first place people go when they just got a name in a picture.
Yeah, man.
Space.
I got some pepper. Okay. Yeah. Why? Because your bro killing me in the car, man. You know that. Oh, okay. You ain't know. Well, I'm gonna give you two. That's for your flesh and your spirit.
Newbies at the same time. I was the newbie in Queen Latifah's camp, performing Ladies First every night. Okay? There were
Important person at that moment.
so they
He had to move somewhere else.
so therefore Tupac.
That's what we need to people to understand.
Yeah. So therefore Tupac would be without a room. I shared a room with one of Queen Latifah's dancers. Double beds. She had her bed. I had my bed. Tupac and I slept in the same bed every night for the entire tour. I have no problem disclosing that. Is so fucking dope, okay? But here's the thing. We became so inseparable that people would see him and be like, where's Moni? People would see me and be like, where's Pac? However, we didn't cross a line of intimacy ever.
Well, y'all slept together in the same bed.
In the same bed.
It shows Tupac had discipline.
Same bed every night for the
Well, ain't. People don't understand. He didn't rape that girl. That's not what he went to jail for. He went to jail for. He was the reason why she got raped in that room, because he brought her to that room and he left her in that room. That's why. That's what she testified about. She never said that he raped her. She said she got raped in that room because of Pac. And that's why he went to jail. Guilty, whatever the fuck it is. Yeah, guilty by association. Since you let that shit happen, and you the bigger figure with the name, nigga, you about to go down for this shit, because you ain't about to snitch on nobody, and ain't nobody about to say nothing else. So yeah, you about to go down.
And who else was there?
Yeah, hell, of course he ain't say nothing. Because if he did, he would have, you know what I'm saying? Like, which is sad. It's sad to say he would have got fucked up or no die, but say he would have snitched and went to jail. Oh, he definitely would have got raped. Definitely. That's sad to say. That's weird. That's weird that niggas will put dick in somebody. For somebody. That's weird. Gay, nigga, you gay. That shit was weird when Boosie said that shit. He said, yeah, I can get that nigga fucked. I'm like, what the fuck Boosie just said on the internet? Oh, the judge says YNW Melly to life.
Huh?
I think this is true. Why? Because he killed both his homeboys.
Oh, why didn't you know? Well, why did you do that?
Huh?
Why did you do that for?
Because his homeboy in there was having an argument with against his mom or something like that. They talking about his mom or something like that.
The date of the YNW Melly trial
Yeah.
is now on March 7th. And
Yeah, the one that he grew up with. Like, it was like disrespecting his mom or something like that. I guess his mom is the manager or something like that. And they were disrespecting his mom or something like that. So.
prosecutors are now
They
requesting
got whole
the
pieces
Broward
of
County
What you
judge
doing?
Wow.
to force YNW Melly to
Oh
provide
shit, that's right from the night.
Huh?
That's right now.
solve the case.
You can light it.
The DNA is not the only thing that they
Yeah,
requested
baby, go.
either. They also asked for YNW Melly's body measurements as well as some
I'm gonna call him tomorrow.
information about his
Yeah, I'm gonna call him tomorrow. They CDL place and
that
shit.
in the vehicle where YW Melly allegedly did the act towards Juvie and Sack Chaser,
Our
there was
next house,
evidence
you still
left
want
behind
you to be
in
staying
the
in
car
Canada, right?
being a yellow
Possibly.
jacket.
Like,
Now this
Better
yellow
choice.
jacket was analyzed
If
by
we-
the
So we
Broward Sheriff's Crime
if we
Lab,
move,
and a
2
report
years,
was then
Yeah.
2 more
taken.
years.
It
yeah, if we
dated on
move, we move to
September
Colorado.
2nd, 2021. It indicates that
Most
Anthony
money.
Williams,
Like off the rip, it's money. Like I know that, you know, like I know what I'm gonna be going into. I'm not gonna be waiting or be, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be on me how I move, you know what I mean? Like I'm like, shit, gonna get that money or not? You gonna talk to Uncle or not? You know? And I wanna be out. I wanna get some money to where we can go out there and we can pay for some like apartment right away. Like we can talk to somebody over the phone and be like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Put the application in online or something, you know? And be able to pay it before we even go out there, you know what I'm saying?
Have it already up and
Get a virtual tour, whatever, this and that. But once we get down, it don't matter if we paying down here anyway. We'll just call instead of a payment plan on the phone or some shit. Instead, we just pay over the phone shit, you know.
was then taken of YW Melly when he left the courtroom. It's hard to tell if he's looking more concerned than usual due to the quality of the photo, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on. Now, all of the evidence in the YW Melly case is crucial, especially when you hear the timeline of what the courtroom believes happened on the day Sack Chaser and Juvie passed. Now, the day starts on October 26th,
It's almost done.
2018. At 3:30 a.m., rappers YW Melly,
Animal
YW
spider.
Juvie, YW Sack Chaser, and YW Portland were all at a recording studio getting work done until their session was over. After completing their session at the studio, they all hopped inside of their Jeep and started heading home. The driver of the vehicle on this day was Cortland Henry,
He didn't say
otherwise
nothing.
known
He in jail
as
too.
YW Portland. YW Melly was sitting directly behind him, with Juvie and
Sack
Sack
Chaser
Chaser
was
on
right
the
here.
opposite
Juvie
side
right here.
of the vehicle. Now, YW Portland ended up taking a back road home. This was to skip early morning traffic, allegedly, but law enforcement believed that it was due to the back roads not having any on-street cameras or really any other drivers on the road.
Nope, that's his homeboy who was driving. No, they was in it together.
They was in it together. Oh, he was the driver and he was behind the driver.
Side of the road, there was a distraction made inside of the vehicle to catch Juvie and Sack Chaser off guard. While being off guard, that's when YW Melly from the back seat did the act towards them both in the vehicle. Now, law enforcement believed it was YW Melly for a few different reasons. One reason being that Melly sent his girlfriend at the time 2 weeks later a Snapchat saying, and I Cortland with me, because at the end of the day, he did one of the realest stuff in my life. Now, this could be YW Melly's way of thanking Portland for remaining loyal and not snitching. And due to the other evidence they have, law enforcement believe that after the act was done, YW Melly and Portland then drove the vehicle into a side parking lot where no witnesses were nearby, as well as no cameras either. They then used 40 minutes to rough up their vehicle to make it appear as if it went through a quote-unquote drive-by. Law enforcement believe this due to YW Melly and Portland taking 40 minutes to get their two best friends medical attention. It's still unknown to this day why YW Melly and Portland took that amount of time to get their two best friends medical attention. But law enforcement believe it's due to them trying to cover up their tracks. Now, it wasn't until February 13th where YW Melly was brought into jail for the act which led to Juvie and Sack Chaser's passing. YW Portland was also brought into jail for 2 counts of accessory in helping YW Melly cover it up. Now, law enforcement has been building up evidence against Melly for 2 years. All of the evidence shared in the courtroom is very concerning, and I was actually able to pull a good majority of the evidence files. Now, it starts by saying, and I quote, "Then also we have a video of Mr. Demons admitting to doing an act towards 2 individuals in the head." Now, I had to change a few of the words in that statement, but you understand at what I'm trying to say. In the next document, it states, and I quote, "This video was on Mr. Demon's cell phone,
which was brought to my office by Jameson Francis, and that is how we had that, and that was all of the evidence that Your Honor has. So Mr. Demons in that evidence is YNW Melly's last name. Jameson Francis is YNW
Demons
Melly's
is his last name?
manager, known as 100K
His last name is Demons?
Now, he was, his court document states, and I quote, these particular cell phones, which were both iPhone 10s,
Play it
were on
back,
the
see what it
T-Mobile
is.
network. And so T-Mobile has a very interesting